Ready? All right, we'll go ahead and get going. It's 7 o'clock.
Mr. Rich.
Here.
Roger Hooker.
Here.
Farley. Mr. Fink.
Yes. Here.
Grooms.
Here.
Holiday.
Here.
Mayor Giselle.
Here.
We have a quorum.
So the invocation tonight is Councilmember Holiday. Heavenly Father, as the sun sets this evening on this beautiful island, we are full of gratitude and beauty that surrounds us, where the nature sings, waves embrace this beautiful shore. Thank you for the sun that rises over our horizon, that gentle breezes our days. On our island, we seek balance. We seek perspectives that grant us the wisdom to listen as much as we speak, to understand rather than judge, and to find common ground amidst our differences. Please help us find and rise above the noise of polarization, refrain from the blame that divides us, and remember that every voice holds value, even when we disagree with those that even lead us. Let us cultivate respect for one another, recognizing that our shared humanity is greater than our individual opinions, and may compassion guide our conversations, fostering unity and understanding. Thank you to the citizens of this island who participate in these meetings and are venturing into the new world to support us in our new adventures together. In the Lord's name we pray, amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First invocation.
Yeah. So thank you for raising the bar on the invocation.
I've learned from the best.
Thank you all for being here tonight. We've probably seen the traffic increasing on the island. We've got a lot of tourists. It's spring break coming up. Be careful on the Arctic. I just got a report of a wrong way car almost hitting my wife. So everybody keep your head on a swivel when you're walking down there. But if you're around the island, you're still seeing all the infrastructure improvements we're doing. We just paved 4th East. It's pretty nice. Some of this stuff's just taking time. I appreciate everybody's patience, and just remember it's going to make our island a lot more resilient going forward. So thank you again.
All right, Andrew.
All right, guys, I submitted 2 memos asking for some consideration. I don't believe there's an action item tonight, but looking for a little bit of clarity on our current leash law. It just talks about being under control. As you can tell, that's a little bit ambiguous, so it's difficult for the person on the beach, on beach patrol or whatever necessarily to be able to give someone some advice when they're looking as to what size leash they could use. So I'm looking for consideration. I'm not here necessarily advocating on a specific length. It's just having a length would be helpful. It makes it very specific. It's easy to give someone that information. It's easy to enforce that information. And that would put us in line with literally just about every other surrounding agency that requires one length or another. That's the first. I think along with that same memo, I talked about asking for a specific ordinance spelling out the throwing out of your pet waste. What Beach Patrol's reporting to me is they're routinely running into folks that are doing the right thing by picking up their pet waste, but then they're tying the bag off and throwing it at the entrance to a walkover or whatever, and then either forgetting it intentionally or not, doesn't matter, but it ends up piling up, causing our staff to have to routinely clean that kind of stuff up. So kind of make it, again, a public information push and make it that illegal, aside from just charging somebody with littering and just, anyway, asking for that. And the last one is a bridge jumping prohibition. Again, we are just about the only agency that's on the water that does not prohibit that. It is extremely dangerous. It's not about the height. Obviously our bridges aren't huge, but our waterways are extremely busy. You cannot see when you're jumping off one side of the bridge, boats, kayakers, paddle boarders going up and underneath a lot of examples of folks either landing on boats, in front of boats, almost getting run over, and it's just, asking for that prohibition. We currently charge in certain situations, disorderly conduct. I don't necessarily think that's the appropriate charge, especially the way it carries on your criminal record, so I was looking for something that was, took that tinge away a little bit, and it was specifically about bridge jumping. So, that's it.
Any questions?
I'd support any ordinance that came up with those items.
Yep. Like you said, we're one of the last municipalities in the area that have not have anything in place in both of these.
That's common sense. You've seen them jump. It's crazy.
Is there signage?
No.
When you talk about the tinge of the disorderly conduct, that's also, the charge for parking on top of, landscape and whatnot and bushes is disorderly conduct. And I've always thought that had sort of an unnecessary tinge about it for a parking violation. I don't know if you could research and see if there's any parking upon, landscaping or in areas not designated for parking or something like that.
Sure.
Maybe you could report back to us.
I think the bridge jumping for sure, we need to do it, we need to have some consequences. And I guess I would just throw it back to you, you've done the research as far as leash length and so on and so forth, but my question is always enforcement. If you're coming to us and saying you want this, to be able to either educate or enforce, I'm all for it as well. My only question is, quote, what's the penalty?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's not a recommendation on penalty. I'm not saying someone needs to go to jail. It's literally just giving us a defined number. And again, it's your discretion as to what that is.
Well, in this, it seemed like 8 was the way.
That was the recommendation based on, again,
Like your research.
surrounding municipalities. I've heard all the arguments, and we've seen a lot of things, dog on a 50-foot lead or whatever, and there was a distinct difference between confinement and control.
Right.
I mean, I'm a dog owner, I love my dog, but I can't control what my dog does 50 feet from me other than to keep it from running away.
So is it helpful that we agree that it's 8, or that's up to, I mean,
I
You
don't.
need a,
I mean, we'll be putting a number in the ordinance for you guys to debate, so if you have a number that
Okay.
you already
So
like,
we-
we can put that number in.
I just didn't know we were gonna go from here.
we gotta start somewhere.
We'll put 8 in the ordinance, but as a placeholder for you guys to debate.
People just saying the retractable
I think
ones
a lot of
are
the
10.
retractable ones are 10 feet.
I'd be arguing with 10. Also think it needs to be a physical leash, because I know when I was on beach patrol, somebody had an electronic leash that beeped or whatever when the dog got more than, 5 feet away, and he was saying that met our criteria of being under control and.
Ankle monitors for your dog.
Yeah, exactly. So I think we need to be specific and say it needs to be a physical leash
But I
that's
think
attached and held onto and not just.
we need to have, I think, consideration too of dogs that like to swim. So, I don't know if 8 feet would be enough.
I would also.
What is the standard, what are surrounding communities doing? I think look into that and
That's
see.
where I was going. I would like to see exactly what other surrounding communities have in their rules.
Yeah, I get
I'm fine.
You good? Thanks, Andy.
I'll be showing my ignorance, but when are we allowed public comments?
It'll be coming up in a little
Okay,
bit.
thank you.
So, next up, just report on council strategic goals. So, city council met in January, and then we were a little delayed having the staff review of the city council goals. The city council did meet earlier this year to lay out their strategic goals for this year. These are their program and policy and project areas that they would like staff to focus on. The next time you'll really see this developed is through the city budget. In theory, as we go through the budget, you're gonna see items proposed to meet these needs throughout the year. But I'm just gonna summarize them. This is available online. I'm just gonna quickly go through, and the way the process works is council, we get our Massey rep who comes and facilitates the meeting with council. This year, we provided all of our long-term plans to council, the dune management plan, the comprehensive plan, the beach management plan, the island-wide drainage plan, all the plans. And said, council, we've got 6 or 7 long-term, 10-year, 5-year plans in place. Lots of goals have been identified. We'd like you to review that literature and then come back and tell us which one of those previously identified things you'd like us to start implementing. And so then they sorted them out kind of in 3 tiers. So the top tier are our highest priority items were to fund a feasibility study to find out how much it would cost, how we would get the money, and what would be needed to design a project to elevate the causeway for anticipated future flooding. We know, well, we predict based on several of our plans that tidal flooding and storm surge flooding is increased to get worse or forecast to increase. And so we want to plan for the long term. Realistically, guys, this is years and years away from construction, but at some point you have to start. So we want to do a feasibility study to take what it would take to raise the causeway, to get out of future flooding. Next up, full review of the STR ordinance. There's been a lot of feedback over the last few years about the STR ordinance, and council has agreed to look at the ordinance, how it's functioning now, all the feedback that's been received. Are there adjustments that can be made to that ordinance to help it function better for the community? And I'll do a little more detail on that, but the goal is to conduct a review of the STR ordinance. Next up, we have identify and prioritize locations for our next phase of pedestrian paths. We have almost finished the commercial district loop. The state gave us some money for Indian from Second to Second. Taking that money has delayed construction, but hopefully they'll start construction by the end of this year, hopefully. So the commercial district loop is done. It's not done, but it's almost done. And so now we want to look at other areas where paths can be built or should be built. The only current one we have known beyond the commercial district is on Ashley Avenue from Second to Third. We're asking for construction money for that for this year. So we're gonna come back to City Council with some ideas. What's the next phase of paths so we can start our path progression where we fund the design one year and construction the next year and roll that on. I think the paths have been well received and well used, and it's exciting to get them out into more areas of the island. So those are the top 3 priorities council chose. Next up, we have updates to the city's long-term plans. Those be focusing on resilience and sustainability. 2 of our long-term plans are kicked off this month at the Planning Commission. The comprehensive plan, which is the land use plan for the city. If you're even remotely interested in zoning, land use, community facilities, housing, natural resources, resilience, there's a few other elements. That's what the comp plan does. It sets out basically a 10-year vision for the city. It's a tremendously important document. The COG is helping us, the Council of Governments is helping us do that. It'll be routed through the Planning Commission and committees of the Planning Commission and Advisory Committee. So over the next few months, stay tuned for updates about the comp plan, and please participate. I know at some point we're gonna be doing a survey. There'll be in-person workshops. That's a really important document, and I'd really encourage everyone who has an opinion about what Folly Beach should be, and I believe it's probably everybody in this room and everybody on the internet, to come out and participate in that process. And we're also doing the 5-year Parks and Recreation Master Plan, which is equally as important. The last few years, we were fortunate enough to get a property donation down at Shadow Race. We were able to acquire some lots down at 5th Street East from the Greenbelt Fund. Those 2 parcels need to be programmed and planned. Jenna's gonna talk about some, but also just an overall look at city facilities. How are the needs of the community changed in terms of park and recreation, and how can we meet those? So 2 very important things kicked off at the Planning Commission. Reach out to Jenna if you want more details. We also have restarting planning for a city storage facility at the Clam Farm. We own a lot at the Clam Farm at the corner of Bowens Island and Folly Road. A storage building there of some type has been on our wish list for a while. We did a concept study, almost 2 years ago now. When we got down to pricing, that was over a $3 million project, which was a little out of our reach. So we're going back to the drawing board and looking for something that we can afford and we can actually build for storage. You may have seen our equipment down there. So we're going to start that process again. And then also continuing to focus on green and blue infrastructure. This goes back to the city parks planning, and also cultural and arts programming. So we don't have any specific items yet, but some sort of public-private art development in the city, that's part of the goal the city council set. So as soon as we get some space and between everything else, we're gonna come back, maybe an arts council, or maybe even private art installations. We don't know what form it's gonna take, but some sort of formal city focus on culture and arts in the community. And then the last tier, we have enhancing our public safety department by signing an auto aid agreement. We're doing some regular updates this year, and also some AI tools in that department. A review of the city's parking program. You know, the last few months, you may have heard council talking about free parking in some hours, or changing the hours for parking is charged and that sort of thing. And we wanna, instead of doing one-off changes, we wanna kinda look at the entire approved paid parking plan, find out how our needs have or have not changed, who we are and aren't serving with that plan, and see what tweaks will be done. And that could be parking rates, it could be where paid parking is, where no parking areas are and aren't, so that we wanna do it all at once rather than one off it.
Does that include whether or not to keep continuing with a third-party provider or bring it back in-house?
It certainly could.
Okay.
It's everything to do with paid parking. And then we were asked to look at city support for outside events. The city provides a lot of public services for outside events. We've been working on quantifying the number of public dollars that go in to support these events. And then we're gonna come back to council and say, every time you approve an event, the city spends this much money on staff time, the city has given this much money in event support through the TVPC, that sort of thing, to at least quantify the city costs in terms of public dollars for events, and then discuss what, if any, methods we would want to pursue to recoup those costs. And then lastly, on the last to-do list is consider adopting all federal holidays as city holidays. We kind of started down that path with our floating holiday a couple years ago, but this didn't make it to this list, so that will probably come up in the budget. So those are the overall goals, but I do want to give a little bit more detail about the STR ordinance review. I know it'll be a big project. We don't have the exact details right now, but generally speaking, we'll schedule a series of work sessions with council. We want to start by reviewing the STR committee proposals, the mayor's proposals, the referendum, the amendments to the referendum, just to kind of get an idea of how we got to where we are today. Not everyone was on council when we started. Not everyone followed everything as closely as they followed it later at the very beginning. So we'll just go back and kind of do a literature review. How did we get to this point? And what were previous recommendations that were made, and which things survived and which didn't survive, and why? So council can look at everything that's ever been proposed related to the STR ordinance. That's the first step. Second step, we're gonna take feedback from council, the public. What are the issues with the cap as it exists today and as it has been amended? If it's not serving the community, what are the specific problem areas that we would want to address? Lots of people can say the cap is great, the cap is horrible, but we want to really articulate the specific faults of the cap so council can look at those. We're going to ask them to take those specific problems and come up with specific policy recommendations. This is the problem we've identified. These are the 3 solutions we could do for that. And then we're going to do a study. We're going to ask a third party, who's not the city, to look at the problems, the proposed solutions, and evaluate whether or not those proposed solutions will fix the problems. What will the impact of those solutions be on, just as an example, city revenues, property values, property transfers, some sort of metrics. It's easy to say the city needs to study this. It's a little harder to specify what you're studying and which impacts you're trying to measure. So we're going to try to nail that down to get the best result possible. And when all that comes back, City Council will have a third party review proposed solutions to identified issues to adopt or not adopt. So that's the first part of the strategic plan we're gonna be working on. It is budget season. There's a whole bunch of meetings gonna happen in the next few months, but we are gonna try to get this as soon as possible. So once we get city council nailed down to a proposed schedule for the work sessions, we'll advertise that and off we'll go. I know a lot of us here in the room have been here for these meetings before, and it's a great process, but I encourage you, show up. It's another thing that if you have an opinion about this thing, show up, tell us, influence it, because the people who communicate with the city are the people who influence the process. So that's that item.
And to be clear, the study's gonna be forward-thinking. We're gonna try to put it in a third party so that it's an objective result. So hopefully our intention is not to relitigate this every 2 years. We wanna, if everybody wants to heal the community, we need to kind of come to some resolution around this topic. So hopefully this will be a good first step in that direction. Jen?
I think she went to get her props.
Okay, she's getting her props. She need help?
Steve, you see she needs props?
She's got a big back.
Okay.
I brought show and tell. One on each side here. So y'all have this in your packets. It begins on page 13. That's the same page you're getting up on the screen here. So the first page is the concept plan that Weston Sampson developed for us. And if you see the little orange dotted line that goes around, that's the proposed path. And then you see an orange rectangle in there, that's the proposed bridges at the low marking areas. And then you see kind of a a purple star, that's a sign, proposed signs. And to get everybody's orientation, if you see on the top left of the page, that's East Indian. So that's the 4th block of East Indian, and then 5th Street right there. And so this is the 2 blocks between Indian and Huron, but also those 2 right-of-ways actually are gonna be part of the part 2. And so the little pollinator garden that you see is the little light green, looks like a little putting green right there in the bottom. That's a proposed pollinator garden, that's in the actual right-of-way, that's not on the part that was purchased as part of the Greenway funds. Let's see. And then the second page has a phase 2, and this was phased out because the consultants believe that the permitting is gonna be harder for this, and it'll take us a lot more budgeting. So the second phase there, can you turn one page? Right there has this kind of brown dotted line as a proposed path that would take the path, that would connect where Wes is connecting the brown line right there through over to the Bart Park. So there's room for connectivity here with some of those low-lying areas that we have to jump over and over the OCR and critical area. And then the pages behind, I didn't print all this out, but the pages behind it's in your document. The first 2 pages are the different permits that we would probably have to get to do this not the trail, but the boardwalk. But then there's also some information about bluebird boxes, and putting a trail of bluebird boxes throughout the island. This is something we could get people throughout there. This is something that people do nationally, but we could get people to do this at their homes, and we can have a trail of bluebird boxes that connects here at Torres Park. And then this is just some other examples of wildlife, like bat boxes and pollinator gardens are some of the other examples that of programming. This is supposed to be a low program park, obviously.
So this is just all conceptual this time, right?
Correct.
What would be phase 1?
Phase 1 would be the trails and the
Boardwalk.
Boardwalk, non-boardwalk trails.
Can make it
So
out.
everything else but the boardwalk would be phase one, and then phase two would be just the boardwalk.
Well, being a fiend for the Park and Rec program and also having, some folks in the audience that were part of this process, which is probably a year or so, one of the questions that I have is, can we capitalize and dovetail with the comprehensive Park and Rec plan that we did have in the budget?
Oh,
That's where I was
absolutely.
going with
Okay.
conceptual.
So that's just, in my mind, that's actually the reality of the situation. You focused on that, we still have shadow raised certain things, but that's great, because we did have money in this year's budget. So are you planning for next year's budget to get more detailed so that we can just roll it out?
Correct, yes.
I love it, correct.
So we're gonna keep going with this before we do the Parks and Rec comprehensive overview to find out where we're at with all our parks and recreation offerings. We're gonna proceed with this first. I'm sorry, which way we go.
We've already gone out to, we already have,
Yes, so this particular park, we purchased with Greenbelt money to be a passive park a few years ago. Council budgeted money to hire folks to develop this park and recreation plan for this park with the participation of the Parks and Recreation Committee, who has seen this plan. So this park is ahead of the redo of our Parks and Recreation Master Plan. This park was previously approved to be developed, independent of the rewriting of the Parks and Recreation Master Plan.
and my question only was to get that everything all connected eventually into the comp plan, so that you can see the bigger picture, but we move
I
forward.
just, maybe I'm on a different, I wasn't at strategic planning. Maybe maybe I'm off a little bit, but if you're gonna do a master list and see where you're at with all your parks and recreation offerings and systems, would it make sense to get that done so you know that you're identifying what's really needed and what people want? I mean, it's a great concept, do not get me wrong, I'm not opposed to it. I just think we're putting the cart before the horse.
We funded it we did this last.
We started looking into it, I know, but if we're gonna keep going through with it, you say simultaneously as we're doing a master plan for Parks and Rec, to me, that seems to be out of sorts.
The fact we're already this far down this path, I think they can be simultaneous, obviously.
And
I'm
in
just
terms,
bringing up a point.
Yeah, I got you.
and in terms of programming, this particular park can't be used for any active use. This park is
Passive.
preordained as a
Greenbelt money,
passive
I
park.
know what Greenbelt money is, I understand, I'm just bringing it up. Now, when you talk about a boardwalk in that, the right of way, remember when we looked at doing that on the west side? And we were bombarded with everybody who lived over there. So I just wanna make sure everybody is aware of that. I know it's a phase 2 conceptual plan, but when that hits the public, be ready, cause that was a big, I mean, we didn't go any further than one conversation, cause we got blasted because of that over there.
I think the good news is, we're into phase one, and we're looking also at the other plan.
Yeah.
Honestly, phase two,
It doesn't need to be mutually exclusive. All right, thanks, Jim.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Speak out loud. One second, Wes, I'm sorry. And council, there is item E, grant match reserve account for Lake Loggerheads. We're not gonna address that tonight, that's actually coming to you guys next month. So that's, page 24 in the packet, the one email of the backup, we're not discussing.
next one.
It just
Say
been,
that louder, please, I couldn't.
There's a personal appearance, or sorry, a staff report from Eric that we're not gonna do this month. Sorry.
go ahead.
Perfect time.
All right, the Special Events Committee met February 23rd to review 3 events. The first event was Fam Camp, Civic Club Fam Camp. It was great to see Civic Club come for their 6th annual request for their overnight camping event on the beach down at the county park. The committee was unanimous in voting for approval and sending it to council. The applicant will be up later to answer questions and ask approval for overnight camping and the use of a police officer from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. The second event is a new event.
Would you like, I'm sorry, would you like questions now, or do you wanna wait till they come up individually?
If they're directed to me, I can answer. The applicant will come up and
I mean, I have one overall for this one and for the Eastern Promenade. The fam camp, overnight camping's always been a part of it, and it's under special events.
It's not a pre-approved event.
Okay.
I do have a question
I know
about
the
the.
Eastern Promenade is, and they've always used a public
It
safety
is.
vehicle, and that's part of a
But
community event.
we're just.
I was gonna get to that, but we can jump ahead to that.
I'll just ask, because both of them to me, like, that's already part of their pre-approved process. Why are we dragging
So
them in here?
Fam Camp is not a pre-approved event,
So
so
we
they
could-
need to come.
But so if we added them to it, overnight camping would be part of their deal. They wouldn't have to come back to us in the future. It's
So
the same thing.
what the applicant is asking for Easter Promenade is the use of city assets. And council has to sign off on that because that is a large enough impact and a tool of the city. The event itself is approved. We're not saying anything about that. It's the use of a police escort and a fire truck being used.
If we say yes to that tonight, it goes into their official, like, that is part of what is, there's no point having them pre-approved if they're gonna have to come here every year is what I'm getting at. If they're asking for the same thing they've always done, and it takes 9.5 minutes.
We can update the ordinance, but
I'd like to avoid them having to come back every year for something that really is a rudimentary thing. I mean, it's a community event. If parts of the community don't wanna be involved in it, that's a shame. I don't have any problems with it.
But the ordinance as it reads now would have to be changed.
And I think we do pre-approve, event. Sorry, no, no. We pre-approve events, we have festivals, and we do allocate city resources. Okay, so I think that that's very clear, and some of those are already pre-approved. So then maybe, is it possible, because there are some, 6 years, and I'm very biased, and, in the Easter Promenade, so, is there a way where later on, the city recognizes that, and it's part of the special events, and they don't physically have to be here, or?
We can certainly do that. One of the strategic goals that council set for this year was to better quantify and elaborate on public
Right.
resources spent to support private events. So the Easter Promenade is excellent, family camp is excellent. It is a quantifiable public resource, and so this is just being presented per our strategic plan and direction from council 2 months ago to better acknowledge public resources dedicated to private events. These are small requests, they are not significant. I think council will agree that the benefit to the community outweighs the cost, and there's no question about the events. But the fact remains that a public safety officer on the beach for 12 hours is a public cost. That is public dollars supporting a private institution. And so no one is questioning the event or asking applicants to supplicate themselves in front of council. We're just trying to quantify the public dollars spent on private events for the record as per the strategic goals of council.
the second event is a new event, Family Palooza. This is being requested from the Folly Beach Baptist Church. This is a exclusive use of a city-deemed facility, Folly River Park. The Special Events Committee unanimously recommended approval of this event, and recommends, the applicant is gonna be requesting the use of the park from 3 p.m. to 10 p.m. They've agreed to continue to work with the committee, the Public Safety Department on safety on road crossings and signing off on the gas grills being used in the park.
Any questions? Thank you, Mark. You did it, everything. Yeah, Eric, you wanna come do?
Just a quick note for y'all, the week has already started, but National Weather Service has deemed this week severe weather and flood preparation for preparedness week. And in keeping with all the stormwater projects you're driving past every day, it's a good time to remember, tomorrow is a statewide tornado drill. If you're interested in participating, and if the council could just help spread the word, go to the National Weather Service website, it's on here, there's information about safety and prevention when it comes to storms and flooding in particular. And please encourage, one of our biggest asks is just to try and remind everybody in the community to try and get involved with the code red system that we have to help with with emergency communication. That's really the primary reason we have here, as we get closer to storm season coming up.
And a link to Code Red's on the website, so sign up.
Everything's there and it's easy to sign up for, and you'll get a lot of information that people probably don't know we're even putting out if you're not involved with it.
Thanks.
So tonight y'all have the resolution in front of y'all to update the city personnel handbook. Mercifully, I'm not gonna be reading from it anymore because we've already gotten through it. But I did wanna let y'all know that there was one sentence added to it between our last meeting and now. And it had to do with employee drug screening in city vehicles. Essentially, I just added a line in there that essentially required employees to have a past drug screen on file before they drive city vehicles. That's always been kind of a practice that we've had because the only ones that drive city vehicles are either CDL drivers in public works who already get them annually, and public safety who are already subject, because of OSHA regulations, they're considered safety sensitive, so we already have the green light to screen them on hire. But now that we have the administration vehicle, I just wanted to add that in there to make sure that we have all of our bases covered and that we were clear on that policy. So if y'all have any questions, I can answer any, but.
Okay, so I did one more round, so I did assume that we were going to take a look at this. Now, is that later on, or would this be right now, or?
We can do some question.
Yeah, well, I'm not clear, we can't make any changes.
Well,
I
You can later when we talk about resolution.
That's my question,
Oh,
so my
yeah.
question is, the resolution, then we
We can
discuss.
discuss it now or then.
Okay, well, I can wait till the resolution, I just didn't know when it was. Okay?
all right. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So,
Any seconds?
That's it.
Dr. Holliday,
Yes.
Rich,
yes.
Dr. Houghton,
Yes.
Green,
Yes.
Farley.
Yes.
Mr. Fink.
Yes.
Mayor Brazil,
Yes.
passes.
All right, do I have a motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting, February 10th?
So that's one Scrivener correction on page 30.
Do we have a second to Mr. Fink's motion?
Second.
Page 30.
All right, Mr. Grooms,
Yes.
Mr. Farley,
Yes.
Mr. Holliday,
Yes.
Fink.
Yes.
Dr. Houghton.
Yes.
Mr. Rich,
I was there.
Mayor Goodwin, Mayor Brazil.
Yeah.
That passes. I apologize.
Personal appearances, request for beach franchises, it's Joyride Transportation here tonight? Or not? Okay. All right, Civic Club.
Motion to approve?
So, April 25th, it's gonna be Folly Camp. Hoping for better weather, we'll probably trade hopefully good weather for larger crowds. Being the end of April, but, Reeves O'Connell is actually gonna be doing it alongside me, cause I'm hoping to sort of hand it to her. She still has littles that are interested in camping. So, I'm just here, I guess, to answer any questions, field any concerns that you might have. Also ask for approval, to have a fire pit on the beach, along with an off-duty officer from 6 to 6 as well. And then we'll work with the park as far as people loading and, basically loading on Saturday. You know, we'd like to start, Reeves would like to start a little earlier on Saturday, more like early afternoon, so people can kind of enjoy the beach. So we'll have to, just tell people to pack your patience, because you may not, you might have to drop your stuff and go park and try to carpool and, don't bring all the cars at once kind of thing. So we'll just sort of figure that out. But are there any questions or concerns or anything?
Motion to approve.
Just wanna make sure you clarify that fire pit is a propane UL listed fire pit, not a.
Yes,
wood
we
burner.
would love to have a real fire pit.
It's the usual one, right? It's the,
Yeah,
it's the
yeah,
usual
it's
one.
the same one, yeah, yeah.
I'll second
Yeah.
DJ's motion.
Any questions?
Mr. Farley?
Yes.
Mr. Grooms?
Yes.
Mr. Fink?
Yes.
Dr. Houghton?
Yes.
Mr. Rich?
Yes.
Dr. Holliday?
Yes.
Mayor Pizzelle?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Come, I'm gonna hit all of you for volunteering.
Family Palooza?
I am not Clark Carter, I'm the associate pastor at Folly Beach Baptist. For those that don't know me, I'm Billy Smith. Evening. So I want to tell you about Family Palooza. It's sponsored by Central Baptist Church in Dunn, North Carolina. They've done this over 100 times in the last 13 years. What it is a family-friendly style block party. They come out with big inflatables, a jump castle, a slide, all kind of fun stuff. Play a lot of games, do prizes. It's a 3-hour event from 6 to 7. Fun games, playing, hot dogs, hamburgers, giving prizes out to kids. Then from 6:45 to 7:45, there'll be a gospel presentation. Either there on the bandstand, we may bring it over into our church. It depends on the crowd, depends on the weather as well. And then after that, for the last hour till 9 o'clock, back for fun and games. No alcohol, no fire. Any questions?
Ecumenical.
Ecumenical for sure, yes, sir. Definitely ecumenical. We want the entire family of faith, and we want all the families on Folly Beach to come out and just be part of it, and just have some fun, just some good, clean, wholesome fun.
Does the Dunn group have insurance and stuff on the?
Yes, they do. Yes, they
Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
So moved.
Sorry. All right, now we can jump right in.
Okay,
Okay, no, then
Yes.
now we actually can ask questions.
sure, sure,
So you just mentioned that they might walk across the street.
sure.
Okay, so that is a safety issue, or, so is there a reason why you wouldn't just keep it localized?
If it
And-
rained.
Okay, so in
Yeah.
case.
If
and-
there were, if storm came up while we're there, we'll go across the street.
So the relocation is only in case it rains, and then from the, I guess, public safety or the committee, that
Right.
was all discussed? Okay.
Y'all are good with it?
Billy, do you have a rain date? If it does rain, do you?
No, they are here from Dunn that
Okay.
day, and that's it.
All right.
And that is June 14th. I don't think the date was mentioned before. It is June 14th.
That's on you.
Any other
That is
questions?
a Sunday.
All right.
All right, awesome.
Mr.
Thank you.
Fink? Mr. Fink?
Thank you.
Yes.
Mr. Grooms?
Yes.
Dr. Holliday?
Yes.
Mr. Rich?
Yes.
Dr. Houghton?
Yes.
Mr. Farley?
Yes.
Mayor Pizzelle?
Yes.
Passes.
All right, Easter Promenade.
I'm Charlie Goodwin, and I really don't know what I'm asking for. I don't know whether I'm asking permission to walk down the street, Center Street, or if I'm asking permission to have a fire truck and a police. I don't know which one I'm supposed to be asking for, but whatever it is.
Motion to
we would
approve.
like to have it. I want to put a little something, yeah, let's put a little something.
I was serious, motion to approve all of it. Thank you. I think this is a good precedent, I will get a hold of that special events ordinance and update it, so you don't have to do this next year. It's a great community event, and that's what being part of the community is. Thank you.
So it was seconded?
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was.
it
Oh,
was.
okay.
Go ahead.
Well, thank you, everybody.
What kind of hat you wearing?
Gotta have a hat.
Yeah, gotta have
No
hats.
baseball.
So, Dr. Holliday? Dr. Holliday?
Yes.
Mr. Rich?
Yes.
Dr. Houghton?
Yes.
Mr. Grooms?
Yes.
Mr. Farley?
Yes.
Mr. Fink?
Yes.
Mayor Pizzelle?
Yes.
Passes.
Thank you. All right, citizen comments, please keep your comments germane to tonight's agenda. Do we have any comments?
Hey everybody, I'm Wendy Ezel, 313 West Hudson Avenue, owner of Folly Beach Chair Company. And the reason I've come up right now is just to ask for consideration for that third vehicle for setup and tear down during our future daily work with our new location. So the reason that we're asking for this is not for the springtime or the fall, but it's that big time this summer that we really need that third vehicle to assist in setup. I can understand that the concern is for safety, what I will say to that is, moving into this new contract, there are a lot of unknowns that are still trying to be figured out from the city as far as where we're allowed to store our equipment. Because that's not figured out yet, we don't know how far we're gonna need to go with our equipment, and we just need, we just hope for your consideration. You've given us this franchise, hopefully that means that you trust us to operate in a way that's safe. We have tried to be forthright in how we value safety, and in doing those things, we hope that you'll just consider, maybe on a trial basis, maybe it's 1 year, maybe it's a couple months, you know, maybe it's just until we get everything figured out and where we're gonna store things, that we would ask for that consideration when you make amendments next time. And that's all I'm saying.
Storage sheds.
Anyone else?
They were not part of the procedure.
I just want to speak for leashes, because somebody mentioned about swimming, you know, and I know dogs that love to swim, and 8 feet, they're not gonna be able to. I also think that has to do with whether or not you can control your dog. You should be able to control your dog, and have there been a lot of problems with the dogs being on leashes, long leashes? Have there been a lot of problems, or some people are just afraid?
We'd have to look into that. You wanna comment on that?
I mean, regardless of whether or not someone's afraid, I think someone who is afraid is just as much of a valid beach user as someone who wants to have a dog, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it's a valid concern regardless.
All right, so,
I just think there's a difference between being
Yeah.
afraid and actually having had
we're not really
documented
debating the
incidents,
topic
that's
tonight,
all.
though. If you wanna make a comment, you can.
Okay, that's my comment,
Yeah,
because I
okay.
would like there to be a very long leash. They
Okay.
love to run, some of them, and if you can control your dog, whistle, whatever, you know, I don't think you should be, like,
Thank you.
Just go ahead and take the other side of that argument. Sean Gilday, 1120 East Ashley. I have 2 Great Danes. They're both awesome dogs. One is puppy friendly and will be friends with everyone. The other is not. She is very protective of us, and this is a on-leash beach. So if it's gonna be an on-leash beach, that needs to be understood by everyone. Emerson, our more protective dog, does not go to James Island County Park because it's unsafe. But she does walk the beach every morning with me. Gambit does either one. So if we're gonna make it an on-leash beach, it needs to be that way, and we need to protect people from what they don't know. And you don't know what that other dog's gonna do. So when you think about these lengths, and yes, they like to play in the ocean, if you wanna go Sullivan Island route and make it off-leash beach, then I'm not taking Emerson, and we all know that. But as long as you continue an on-leash beach, you need to make sure that everyone's protected. Thank you.
Anyone else? All right. Got any commission board reports? All right, old business, no, new business. Election of mayor pro tem. Nomination.
So, I guess we'll open the floor to nominations.
I would like to take an opportunity to first thank DJ for his years of doing that previously, and I appreciate your skill, and we're glad to have you back on council. I'd also like to open that aperture for another individual to have the opportunity to garner that experience and everything. And
Barbie movie. Sorry,
are we doing cartoons? Cartoons maybe, or? No, I would like to nominate Catherine Houghton to give her an opportunity to use her years of experience on council.
Anyone else?
Well, I think obviously, you know, DJ has gotten experience, and, you know, Catherine's wonderful as well. I mean, I'd nominate both of them. But if I had, I mean, I'd like to put DJ into the hat as well, so.
All right. Anybody else?
All right. Call the roll. We have two nominees, Dr. Houghton and Mr. Rich. Mr. Holliday,
Houghton.
Mr. Grooms,
Rich?
Mr. Fink,
Dr. Holiday,
I'm not running.
Dr. Holiday's on there too.
Mr. Farley,
Houghton.
Dr. Houghton,
Houghton.
Mr. Rich.
Houghton.
Dr. Houghton, elected mayor pro tem.
Not that it's time for a speech, but honestly, thank you. To my peers, truthfully, that means a great deal. I appreciate it.
We'll expect a lot. Okay, ordinance 005-26, an ordinance amending chapter 52 of the Folly Beach Code of Ordinances by removing the fixed rate structure in section 52079 and allowing future rate changes for sewer tap and impact fees to be adopted by periodic resolution of the council. First reading.
Motion to approve, can we jump to that?
Let me give the floor to the two consultants if we could.
Okay.
Yes, sir. So guys,
We've already
Now, Bill wanted
we've
to
got
clarify.
later tonight, we have the resolution to adopt the rates, as you guys proposed. And Lee did a great job representing you at the work session. I think there are just a couple more questions council has, since all three of these items go together. Would you guys mind come up?
Yeah. Right now.
Yeah, we don't need to go through the whole thing, but if you want to address your question.
So, did you get my question through, Lee, or?
We heard a couple of them. There was one around the 5,000 gallon
Yes.
cutoff.
So what is the average user?
So the average user for your system, and I'm gonna look at Ford, who's helped with the analytics, is right around that 5,000 gallon mark. So that's why we really felt like that was a good place to set that first tier, so that it really represents a residential kind of baseline usage for an average user.
So when you say right around, how close are you right around?
I mean, it really is right on 50% of usage is at that 5,000 gallons. If you look at the median bill, it's actually even a little bit lower than that. So we thought that was appropriate to kind of put it at that.
And then how do our tiers compare to our peers?
Yeah, so that's you're not going to like this question. It's sort of, or this answer. It's sort of all over the place. So, for example, in Isle of Palms, I think it's 8,000 gallons tier 1, but in Sullivan's Island, it's 4,000 gallons tier 1. Mount Pleasant, I think, is 9,000 gallons. So it's kind of all over the map. But I think with the 5,000 gallons, that was, we felt like the right fit here. It felt like that was saying, hey, we're setting this kind of baseline, residential usage threshold at tier 1, and the folks using a lot more than that are going to start paying a little more.
So does that mean our tier will be, I mean, just the ones you said, that there's only one lower than us, and everybody else is more than 30% higher than us? I mean, to go from 7,000 to 5,000, it's a 28% decrease. And that's a significant decrease to occur in 1 year. But if it doesn't affect the average user, I'm okay with high volume people paying more. It's just, that's how the system works. But I'd like to make sure we kind of protect, the individual homes that are trying to have families and keep that rate as stable as we can, because we have managed to go up on that just about every year that I've been on council. And I do hear about it, how much the water bill is. And
So are you recommending that the number maybe increase a little bit as a buffer?
Well, I'd like to hear a little bit more about where the other tiers are. And
Yeah, well, it's totally a mixed bag. I think you'll find a lot that are lower. There's kind of this concept of lifeline rates out there that are 0 to 3,000 or 2,000 a month. But again, we felt like 5,000 was the right place to be, because for a, you know, median Folly Beach user who doesn't have a lot of seasonal usage, you know, you're gonna stay solidly, you know, single-family residential customer would stay solidly in here.
That's what 5,000.
Any other questions for these?
Well, there was a question about businesses, is that,
These two resolutions are just to allow us to pass it by resolution. I'm
We'll
fine
look
with
at
those
that.
two. The other one, I'm not gonna approve it without more direction on that.
okay,
So, do we have a motion to approve?
so moved?
Second.
Any other questions?
So this is the ordinance for first reading, just to allow floating rate structures in general. Mr. Rich,
Yes.
Dr. Hope,
Yes.
Mr. Farley,
Yes.
Mr. Fink,
Yes.
Mr. Grooms,
Yes.
Dr. Holliday,
Yes.
Mayor Bazell.
Yes. All right.
This is first.
Ordinance 006-26, amending chapter 51 of the Folly Beach Code of Ordinances by removing the fixed rate structure in section 51005 and allowing future rate changes for water tap and impact fees to be adopted by the periodic resolution of council. First reading.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion?
Dr. Holliday,
Yes.
Mr. Grooms,
Yes.
Mr. Fink,
Yes.
Mr. Farley.
Yes.
Dr. Houghton,
Yes.
Mr. Rich.
Yes.
Mayor Bazell.
Yes.
Passes.
All right, resolution 07-26 by the Folly Beach Council approving 5-year contracts for beach chair and umbrella rental franchises beginning in 2026. Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion?
Mr. Grooms.
Yes.
Mr. Rich.
No.
Dr. Houghton,
Yes.
Dr. Holliday,
Yes.
Mr. Farley,
Yes.
Mr. Fink,
Yes.
Mayor Bazell.
Yes.
Passes.
Resolution 0826, a resolution by the Folly Beach Council approving 1-year contracts for non-franchise beach activity for 2026. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Any discussion? We need a second on that
Second.
side. Any discussion? All right.
Mr. Farley,
Yes.
Mr. Fink,
Yes.
Mr. Grooms,
Yes.
Dr. Houghton,
Yes.
Mr. Rich,
No.
Dr. Holliday,
Yes.
Mayor Bazell.
Yes.
Passes.
All right, resolution 0926, resolution by the Folly Beach City Council approving the updates to the City of Folly Beach Personnel Handbook. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion?
I have discussion. I mean, I apologize, but this is sort of my background and, since we left, then I'm assuming there was a attorney review, so the attorney has signed up on all of this.
Yes, I met with her personally.
Okay, so that was my first question. The second question is on, I'm not gonna, there's a few typos, don't even worry, I'm gonna
Okay.
go. Okay, very minimal, but again, this is an academic that's like
Sure.
dotting the i's, crossing the t's, so that's way later, minimal. One of the questions I had on page 7, and it's a question of when we hire people, and they have another employment opportunity.
Yes.
They say that up front, but we don't note what happens after hiring. So, I mean, things do happen after hiring, and how do we handle that? It should be in this.
If they have a
So,
second job? or
so what
something?
happens with how this is written, and I might be wrong, is when someone's employed, they disclose that. Okay, what happens is, once they're here, and they pick up a second job, so on and so forth, maybe the job's in the city, that's my question right here.
So earlier in that paragraph in section 2.05, you see that employees must get prior written approval from the department head before engaging in that other employment. That covers that, but you are right that there isn't a strict enforcement mechanism there. But then we're starting to talk about, hey, do we want to be like regularly quizzing our employees on what they're doing
Okay,
outside of their work? So
part of
I
my-
think it's a little different.
part of my things could be editing, but they could be procedural, so I'm actually just putting that out for whatever way.
So we do have a process where we ask folks who take a second job or are considering taking a second job, they have to submit that in writing to their supervisor, who either through me or the mayor will approve it. So we do have a process for it. What's not in there is the quote penalty for if we discover you having had a second job.
Right. So again, being a process person, I just wanna,
So there's a document behind the document.
And we also have the conflict of interest that you have to disclose. I mean, there's some stuff.
And that's the main purpose, is to figure out if there is a conflict of interest in their work. For
Right.
example, if somebody's out here doing contract work, but they're having to enforce codes as well.
So if they have a side hustle selling hair braids on eBay, they have to tell their supervisor that they're doing that.
Hypothetically, they would disclose it,
yeah,
yes.
yes, that's,
Disclose it.
And for example,
that's my opinion.
if a city employee had a side hustle providing a service using vendors that were related to that city's employee's job, that's why we wanna know. So their side hustle is selling berets on eBay, we have to know what that is and who they're dealing with to make sure it's not.
If it's not a conflict of interest though,
Then we approve it.
why would you need to deal with it? I mean, I just don't understand why somebody would have to disclose their private information if it's not a conflict of interest.
Well, you have to disclose it so you can identify it.
So
if
we
it
can
is,
formally
yeah.
I don't
document
plan
that
on
it's
working
not.
here, so it's
That's
okay.
fine, that's fine.
Okay, again, I'm just highlighting things, buzzing right along here as far as, the other question that I had, say, page 10. Now, this is really another process question, and I know you deleted what you had in red, but, so phone calls.
Yes.
All right. There shall be no personal phone calls that conflict with employee duties. Again, there's a process for that, or there's, I mean, I'm just trying to be helpful, but also say, if we're going to put this in here, then where do we go from here? As far as,
So I think it was previously worded to say you could only have so many minutes of personal phone calls a day. And so the goal of that edit is to say you can have as many personal phone calls as you want to all the time, as long as it's not keeping you from doing your job. So the process would be, Anderson's been on his cell phone in the hallway all day long. Someone notes it, reports in. We ask Anderson, how long were you on that personal phone call? He says 2 hours and 15 minutes. We would write him up for excessive use of the phone. I mean, there is no, we don't have a numerical standard,
No.
because that's where we were.
right,
Yeah, if you
that's
have
where
any-
you were. So my question is to go to the next place and just say, you still wanna have something about phone calls. Just- Okay,
Right, it essentially it puts the ball in the manager's hands as opposed to, essentially, if we have a numerical rule like that, you have to abide by the numerical rule, and there's no room for leeway, so that's essentially why.
so that helped us, that edit.
In my opinion, yes.
Okay. The other thing is the merit increases, I understand went to, because this is a question for later on. So the merit increases went to retention incentives. Can we just, again, that'll affect the budget, can we just have a little more, like why I know why the merit went out, but retention, and later on, we talk about retention.
Right, it's essentially clarifying that this isn't a one-to-one performance bonus, which is not allowed
Right.
For public agencies. This is something that you're identified as a employee that we want to retain, and so we are making.
But also, we do the evaluations on their, because this is the other thing going into budget, and we had discussed this. We do the evaluations on their anniversary, right? And then we hold some of that good news until budget, and then,
We do annual evaluations.
yeah,
It's not on the anniversary per se.
It's prior to the budget.
okay.
It's a budget item.
And all that's done, and then, okay. I'm cool with remote work, it's just maybe later on you might wanna get a little more detailed about it if necessary, but that was just one area that,
Yeah, one of the reasons that we didn't go into specifics there is that remote work in one department is gonna look very different from another
I
department.
couldn't agree more.
So-
I'm just saying it's sort of a new initiative,
Right.
so to speak. Just out of my own research, on page 19, you really did go, and I think it's great, you really went into the details if someone's over or underpaid.
Yes.
We had to do that because it happens, we had to do that.
It does happen. It gives us essentially a way, one of the things that we were worried about was inconsistent enforcement. And so we wanted to actually define those procedures so nobody could come back. And this is also meant to potentially outlast whoever's making those calls.
Right.
So
So
that
you
would be
clean
either
it-
myself or Lee in finance, you know.
So you were cleaning it up and you did dollar amounts and.
Yes.
Okay.
And actually, the framework from that policy was something that I borrowed from Mount Pleasant.
Okay, check that right off. Page 20, optional training, okay, there's an area. Now, I might be off, but there's mandatory training, there's required training, there's optional training. Am I missing mandatory, required, optional? So, I'm just curious, especially since we're gonna be on a on a sort of a committee that's looking at certain things. Optional, why would the city be paying for an optional,
Consider Massey courses.
is optional?
It's not for the purpose of maintaining certification that require, that you're required to have.
Certification versus, okay, I'm good, check it right off the list. 21, page 21.
Yes.
Who is the finance section chief in number 5?
Finance section chief is Lee in the event of an emergency and MEOC stand up.
Okay. Got it? Okay, the 22.
All right.
This was where I was kind of, employees forfeit their tenure after they leave and come back?
In the event that they do, essentially that they're not entitled to their previous place on their range.
So years of service.
Second.
Okey-dokey. Love the section that's gonna have more federal holidays. Got it? Got it? Just page 28, a quick one. The spouse, we're talking an employee spouse,
Yeah, so it wasn't clear whether, like, for example, like if a spouse's parent dies,
Got it.
and I mean, clear.
Got it.
Right. And so
Good.
this is just defining
Beautiful.
that is covered by the policy.
I think that's great. The only other thing, actually, and this is what I learned, and it might be different, and it could be a question for Lee, on page 26, I don't think council people can get advanced payments when we go to training. So,
So was that 26 or?
I'm sorry, 36.
36, thank you.
It doesn't note that we don't get it, but I don't believe we should get it.
You're not entitled, it's receipt of, it's direct reimbursement.
So I don't know if we wanna note that, because are we considered employees? But I know we,
Well, we have it in our travel policy that you guys can't get advanced reimbursement.
Does it need to be restated twice?
We can certainly put it in there.
We can essentially add a
this is-
not meant to
oh,
conflict with policy number, yada, yada, yada.
We can add this. Do we need to just make an amendment for that? Yeah.
There's only 180 pages here, folks, so.
Oh, honestly, I'm winding down, I absolutely, I'm really winding.
You're gonna make
You're
a motion for amendment, and we vote on that and get that done?
Yes, yes.
And just to
You
be
wanna go
clear,
ahead and make that
you're
motion?
referring towards the bottom of that page, the all advances must be requested more than 2 business days before the employee's departure, right?
Correct, yeah, correct. And then basically we have to note,
So make your motion.
I make a motion that council members or elected officials, are not able to have advance payments.
Or to reference the policy?
Why did just us, why was everybody?
It's already everybody.
It's already everybody, but there's a rule which I,
Exception policy.
So they're not entitled.
we're not entitled, I'm just saying that that's what the rule is, and where, if I read this, I think I could.
We can just say that this policy is not intended to apply to elected commissions.
Correct.
Okay, we have a motion,
I'll second.
second. Any discussion on the motion? All right, let's vote on the motion.
All right, on the motion, Mr. Rich,
No.
Dr. Houghton,
Yes.
Mr. Farley,
Yes.
Mr. Fink,
Yes.
Mr. Freeman.
Yes.
Dr. Holliday.
Yes.
Mayor Buzzell. Mizell.
Yes.
All
All right.
right, so that amendment passes.
Any more discussion on the main resolution now? You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, no more?
Oh, the main one?
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
Oh, wait. I thought-
Last undertaking.
Sorry, I'm winding down. Great clarifying, I know you worked on the language for the verbal warning, great. I'm clear about the verbal, the written. And I appreciate, still have the question, there's two more, promise. Page 51, I think it's great we have a code of conduct. We go into really great detail about gossiping. And I know this is left over from 2008,
Yes.
a 2008 revision. But there's like 5 lines about gossiping in the workplace. And again, I don't necessarily, in my mind, agree with that. I think it's clear that we have a code and so on. So to have that stay in there in that great detail, I just question.
Would you like to make a motion to remove it?
Yes.
All right.
Do I have a second?
It's page 51.
I got a second from Mr. Hollis.
Now, are we talking about striking all of number 11?
No, you keep it all, but gossiping in the workplace causes disruption to the city, so on and so forth. Never volunteer, da-da-da. Department heads, if your gossip becomes disrupted, disciplinary action up to and including termination may be taken.
So you want to strike all of that?
Strike it all.
All right, so we had a second, so we have any discussion on this motion? All right.
We're in discussion period.
Yeah.
So Catherine, is your concern because it's subjective and you can't qualify how you describe gossiping? Or is it like how you can legally recognize something that's wrong?
All of the above. We have the standard. I completely love it. That level of detail, and I think we deal with it. And I also think the more detailed you get into it, how do you quantify it? Okay, I think that's very risky, and it's up to termination.
Did you get any clarity from the lawyer on this?
So,
Because I gave that last.
my opinion on this is that it is covered by our other policies on professionalism. The definition that I got from SHRM was verbally or in writing attacking other employees, whether out of dislike for an individual or for personal gain that has the effect of creating animosity, tension, and organizational dissension. And the reason why I wouldn't put that there is because the more that you put in definition-wise, that narrows the scope. So if I use this definition, and we were to say that employee was not denigrating another coworker, but potentially a member of the public, well, then we wouldn't have cause of action under this specific policy. Now, like I said, we have other policies in here about professionalism that I think does cover stuff like that. So I'm not entirely against, removing that
So
policy.
it could be redundant.
So we have other policies that cover professionalism. So that's a good thing. And then what we're saying is, the attorney even had sort of more clear language, let's say,
It was more narrow.
that could narrow and you could maybe quantify, so.
So with what you're asking for, it still gives the ability to terminate based on that kind of behavior, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Because there's other.
As long as, because we said you took it out of the one section, but as long as they can still be, I'm sorry, but any egregious action can cause termination in the state.
It's redundant.
Yeah.
It is.
So,
Okay.
hey, cut stuff out of there, I'm all for it.
You see that a lot whenever there's a specific thing that they're trying to address, that you'll see a specific line about a specific.
So did I make a?
Sure makes money to
I was like, did I say?
So we're gonna vote on the motion to strike that passage.
Dr. Hutton,
Yes.
Mr. Rich,
Yes.
Farley,
No.
Mr. Fink,
No.
Mr. Broom,
No.
Dr. Holliday,
Yes.
Mayor Mizell.
Yes.
Yeses carry, so that amendment passes.
Okay, so back to the resolution in total.
The only thing that I have, and I promise, the last is, later on, you probably, and again, this might be another document that is not in this, but a grievance process, as far as employee grievance, is that separate from the handbook?
So we used to have a grievance policy. This was long predates my tenure in human resources. I know the issue that we had with it, I believe, is because it was an actual noticed public meeting that could happen.
So
It caused issues, I
we
believe.
previously had a grievance committee made up of employees election, after the last one of those processes went through, council at that time chose to disband the grievance committee and remove all public airing of grievances.
But employees can still have a process for grievance that's more internal?
Yeah, they would go through their normal chain of command, and if they were not satisfied with the decision that had been made, that's when they come to the human resources. And they bring it
Beautiful.
to it.
Okay, now I really promise,
All right.
my part of the resolution is over.
Well, thank you for looking thoroughly at the document. Yes, I appreciate that.
Highlighted
Yeah,
and
that's
margin
great.
noted.
So
Highlights
do
and
we,
margin.
we need to vote now on the resolution?
As amended. Mr. Fink?
Yes.
Mr. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Rich?
No.
Dr. Hope?
Yes.
Mr. Farley?
Yes.
Dr. Holliday?
Yes.
Mayor Brazil?
Yes.
Passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, resolution 1026 by the Folly Beach City Council adopting increased water and sewer rates for city customers as recommended by the completed 5-year rate study. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
I'm satisfied with my comments.
All right, thank you. All good?
Dr. Holliday?
Yes.
Mr. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Fink?
Yes.
Mr. Farley?
Yes.
Dr. Hope?
Yes.
Mr. Rich? Mayor Brazil?
Yes.
Passes.
All right, council comments. Bill, you wanna get us going?
Sure, I'll get him started here. Michael Norton, who has been with the Planning Commission for years, I don't know if you know, he's selling his house, and he has resigned from the Planning Commission. I think he's gonna go, when he sells his house, he's gonna go back to home in North Carolina, so I'm happy for him. But in his place, I'm gonna appoint Amy Ray on the new Planning Commission. So she's done a great job. She's a mother, and so I think she'll have good input, especially with the new plan that's coming up, 10-year plan. So I'm looking forward to that. Also, I'd like to take $400 of my council allotment to buy some native plants and seeds, as we did last year. I think Jenna's planning an April giveaway, so hopefully the tree fund can supplement some of that. And we'll have a lot of free plants, native plants and seeds to put in your yard, so we'll have lots of birds and butterflies to go around. And also remind you to make an input on the 10-year comprehensive plan and the Parks and Rec plan. And also, the Exchange Club is doing an awards luncheon tomorrow for Public Works. We'll feed them food, so we're asking the community to bring some desserts for them to take home at the 11:30 tomorrow. Bring desserts to the hut, 206 West Indian.
Okay, thank you all for coming. Keep in mind Easter. Please enjoy the holiday with your family, but also be mindful of spring breakers. I just came from a short trip to Florida and back, and they're literally having, the area of Jacksonville is worried about teen takeovers. They're having groups of teenagers that literally will invade a particular part of the city, either stores or whatever it might be, and just raising havoc because they can. So let's not have that here at Folly, but do enjoy Easter. There will be a blood drive in April. Please participate in that if you can. It's what's it? April 8th, pretty soon. Father Kelly Hall. Yeah. So sign up for that. It's on the Red Cross website. And, our crew from here, Dave Miller and gosh, Kristen and Patty and a whole lot of the folks that are here help out with that. And it's such a good cause. Having been a recipient, I can attest to the fact that it works, much to your chagrin, but that's okay. And stay safe.
RedCrossBlood.org, that's the website. April the 8th, and then future dates are June the 17th and October the 14th, and December's drive is yet to be decided. Next week, the biggest holiday of the year, St. Patty's Day. I hope everybody enjoys, has a great time, and thanks for coming.
Probably mine.
Well, in addition to all those holidays, in March you have International Women's Day, Ramadan, Purim, and I'm gonna close with my St. Patty's Day wish, Irish blessing. May your troubles be less and your blessings be more, and nothing but happiness come through your door.
I want to appoint Dennis Ashley to the planning commission. I think he'd be a good addition. I want to thank everybody for coming out of Hollywood's 20th anniversary this weekend. A bit of a personal plug. It was a great time. It's been wonderful being a part of this community for that long. We had a great time. So much fun with the Hermit races. They make me do it again Thursday. And also, if anybody's around tomorrow afternoon, I'm speaking at a business and bourbon event at Cannon Distillery. They put local politicians and local elected officials and candidates for just a little relaxed atmosphere, speaking, question and answer. It's right at Signal Point Road. I've heard it's a nice facility, so I can't wait to check it out. So if any of y'all aren't doing anything, stop on by. Thanks for coming out.
Just would like to echo the sentiments earlier regarding celebrating the holidays that Councilman Fink said. Don't forget Passover as well. This is a joyous time to remember how fortunate we are in this community. I'd also like to welcome our esteemed colleague back to the table, DJ Rich, and his election. Congratulations, DJ, and thanks for hosting the 20th anniversary party at Folly this weekend. I spent way too much time and way too much money, but I had way too much fun, so thank you again for that. And with that, I turn it over to the mayor.
All right, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Mayor, renewal
Oh, yes. Renewal season has opened today, so please get your business license renewals into the city as soon as possible so we can get all these things processed. So, thank you.
And if you have any questions, it's renewals@follybeach.gov.
Yes.